Hey gang, this is a detailed or a bit of a deep dive into the monk PvP build. I've coined Monkey Magic using these skills here. The reasons why I've chosen them and some details about how they work. So the last video I gave a general outline of the types of builds that are useful that I use in the game, the reasons for them, and PvP build is used primarily for battlegrounds, but if you want to, have a decent match in the arena as well, or even prepare for vault defense, the other forms of PvP content, you can use this, but those are typically done whilst you're doing other things, so I tend to use a bit of a mix build, or my navigational build for those, rather than having to change essences on armor. So just a quick recap. I'll quickly show these if you want to pause to read what they are, the abilities. The main things about them are the legendary abilities, how they affect what I use. And the reason why I chose these abilities was based on initially jumping into battlegrounds, getting destroyed by certain things, and then what I did was I had a look at what synergies there are on the abilities themselves, so that I could figure out how I could start to prevent getting destroyed the way I was, and how I could be more effective, and constantly observing what gives me trouble. So, what does my character class have the equivalent of that could also be equally difficult to deal with in PvP? So I would start here, sort of look at each ability, work out which is potentially the best one for each piece of armor, and synergies that I could utilize every piece of armor. And the two abilities that I really basically wanted to drive my build around, first of all, Dragon Fist for its effect on other characters. When you grab people, pull them up. So if I was in PvP, grab this guy, I can dump him towards my party to kill them. I can dump him onto an enemy and stun them both, like that. So it would lift him up. It would land stunned, dismounted. It would cancel whatever ability he was currently in, which would now be on cooldown. And so if I'm really trying to peel enemies away from the opponent, this is the ability I'm wanting off cooldown. So a lot of what I'm doing is based on the cooldown of this ability. I might just be hanging around the edge waiting for Dragon Fist to be on cooldown, at which point I'll leap in, grab an opponent, dismount them, or otherwise, burn them down with my primary attack, or just leave them stunned for my party to roll in behind. And the other abilities I looked at that I could see were very functional were just abilities that made my character hard to track visually. So the leaps that I use, that one, for example, Imprisoned Fist, is much slower. You can be hit out of it much easier. This, although it's high, at the peak of the jump, you can still be hit by grounded attacks, which I'm not sure if that's intended in the game. But nonetheless, it's there. It's a bit of a drawback, but it's such a rapid animation, and I'm using that to get to positions faster. Got so many charges of it. Dragon Fist doesn't. It goes higher, but the startup and the ending animations, you've got so many inactive frames. Basically, you could probably reach the same position just by running in the same amount of time. So if I go there and run back, it's pretty similar. Whereas these travel much faster. You can chase opponents down. They're now cooling down as I'm moving around. And so all of my abilities have charge, which makes me quite mobile, and teleport on the primary attack. Now initially when I was playing, I probably did what most people do, and as you unlock your abilities, just assume that the second primary attack was better. So you start with Fists of Thunder, and then later on you unlock Deadly Reach. And this has a bit of AoE in line. So I was running around in Battlegrounds using that. And when I first looked at what abilities would be useful, I realized that just the teleport function off Fists of Thunder was enough to make it far more useful in PvP content. I'll give a little demonstration of this, but the main things about the primary attack is its combination and the frames it takes to use. So it teleports off every third punch, but basically what it is two different animations. So if I tap once, it's just a punch, punch, and then if I tap too quickly, the second animation comes out, which is the combo. And then the next attack after the combo will provide, there's that third punch, bam, there, and provides another teleport. But the teleport, like every 3 punches, is on your first and third hit. So anytime that first attack comes out, gives a teleport, and then that third attack also provides a teleport. Now by holding the button down, you can only change direction of your, say, third attack in the combo, but depending on the timing, you can actually move a bit and then get the second part of the animation out like that. Like that. And it's worth practicing during normal content, like PvE content, to get the timing right for those different effects. Because in PvP, your opponent's never going to be standing still unless they're stunned. So you may need to hit them with the first punch, and that will teleport in, of course. And then as they're moving, slightly adjust your position in order to, like this, like that, to be able to then attack in a different direction with the second part of the combo, if you even attack at all. I might teleport punch in, then leap straight out. So it's very engaging micro. Once you get used to all the abilities, how they work, and the range and mobility is vastly increased, considering there's a teleport it's about every second if you cancel the second part of the animation. Tap, 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 tap. So each one of those punches would provide a teleport. And so being able to chase down retreating opponents, whether they're mounted on horse or not, you can leap, tap, leap, teleport, leap, teleport, leap, teleport. And you can see the first one's already cooled down. You can even use the Dragon Fist, teleport, dash, teleport, another charge, teleport, another charge. So you can imagine how fast that will go. I'll show it in a challenge rift and try and stack up some mobs as an example. Let's go a bit easier, just so I don't have to worry about dying. And this is the same for dungeon runs, in like that hybrid sort of build that I would have. So in this, I'll just use teleport. Teleport. Now they're quite bunched, so it's not the best example, but you can see there. Move quite quickly. And again, even without special abilities, you can just navigate through enemies, teleporting. So it's good to practice this in PvE content, the timing, so that you don't accidentally get out the second combo part of the animation like that. Again, I can hit in one direction, turn around and do the second part of the combo, like that, like that, like that. You know, I can... One effective combo is I'll teleport in, Dragon Punch, and I'll do a neutral Dragon Punch. In PvP, it will pick up and auto-track another target to stun them both. So if I teleport punch in, neutral, Dragon Punch, it will drag from then, he dragged the opponent from there to the nearest opponent there. So if that was in PvP, it would have stunned them both if it wasn't resisted. Or you can teleport in and manually track, say, backwards towards your party so that they can kill them, and you can then retreat, heal up, that sort of thing. And if you watch the PvP videos I'm putting up, having explained some of the techniques might be a bit more clearer what it is I'm trying to achieve. Shield of Zen, the main purpose for it is the prevention of loss of control. So if they were ice effects being hit there, it doesn't slow me, whereas it doesn't feel slower. I think it might be. So yeah, that's that. Now, how do I exit a challenge rift? Probably back at the start. So let's try and go backwards now. So I'll just use my basic to get there as quick as possible. Now, the gem I have increases attack speed. Two things I'm noticing. It appears to also increase the speed of the teleport animation itself, but it's certainly... Being faster means I can teleport off the first punch, cancelling the second part of the animation much quicker. So I can go teleport, 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 like that. A lot faster because of increased attack speed. I don't think I could be going quite that fast without that gem. Actually, I'm positive I couldn't be. Now, if this was a single target in PvP, I could teleport in and Dragon Fist. So, boom, 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 which can dismount them. There is a startup animation on Dragon Fist, so you can be stunned or hit before the action is complete, which means the element of surprise can be pretty important when trying to take people down with that. And I'll use the leaps for getting away to heal or support another party member as much as I am. I'm very rarely actually using them for damage. Immobilizing fists can immobilize a target, so I'm using it for a status effect more so than the damage. And if I really want to deal damage and I've isolated an opponent, I can't be taken out by their reinforcing party, then I will just target them down with basic attack, which is my primary ability for damage in the build. But again, it's mainly a support build for peeling off enemies from the side or literally diving through the front line to get to the support mages and ranged attackers in the back of their party, or at the very least just distracting them so that the damage dealers in my party can roll through and effectively take out their front line. So that's basically it for Monkey Magic. I'll just quickly show the abilities themselves and how they work. Fists of Thunder. Teleport to a nearby enemy, and then it'll teleport again on the third hit. That's only if you don't cancel the combo by delaying your next strike. So again, I recommend, whether or not you're using this build, if you're using Fist of Thunder, never hold the attack button down, because you can always have more control by if you want the combo to complete, if you're just killing monsters, just learn the timing you need to tap it in order to complete the combo. You'll only need to tap it once for the first, twice for the second, and then third tap for the third part. That way you'll be able to actually change your orientation for each strike of the hit once you get used to it. They won't all be in the same direction, particularly when using the teleport parts of the attack. You can then aim at different opponents to perhaps get you out of danger or put you in closer range to a bigger mob to drop an AoE or something like that. But yeah, try not to ever hold that attack button, unlike Demon Hunter, for example, where you'll be moving and firing at the same time. And again, any of the abilities that you use may be running around that you also want for PvP. Just practice moving and targeting and all the techniques at the same time. The next ability, Dragon Fist. So one thing, it doesn't actually say what effect Gather has. And is it the fact that I'm gathering an opponent that dismounts them off the horse? I still haven't explored that yet. It stuns. What's the name of the stun status effect? It's probably got an icon under the thing, but I haven't even gone into those kind of details yet. What does immobilizing an opponent actually mean? I still don't know that, to be honest. This move is not providing to be as effective as the description, but I'm still using it because of the mobility it provides. Exploding Palm. So it's now Crushing Palm. And of course this does deal decent damage, and the bleed effect as well in PvP. Maximum charges, and I'm finding maximum charges is pretty important in PvP. So if there's any ability that you might not have considered using, if it's got an armor augment that increases the charges, perhaps it's worth exploring. And Shield of Zen, primarily for the loss of control, prevention of loss of control, which still I'm able to be stunned in certain things in Shield of Zen. So again, I'm not sure if that's how the mechanic of the game is supposed to work and the description is inadequate, or if it's just something that's a bit bugged in the alpha and needs to be repaired. I feel fairly certain that the way the abilities work are as intended for the most part, and it's probably just there's quite a few inadequacies in their descriptions about how they do work. We are just in alpha, and I'm sure their primary concerns are about game stability. Things like this they're quite easily fixed once the game's launched. And to be perfectly honest, I think the game's so good in its current form that the sooner they can release it for everyone to play, these little things like inaccurate descriptions aren't really going to mean much at the end of the day. A few people, I'm sure, will get upset until they're fixed, but if you're just there to enjoy the game, there's plenty of fun to be had. So there it is, Monkey Magic. Again, Dragon Fist is the main weapon the tool in the arsenal for this support build. These abilities are for engaging and disengaging battle, and Shield of Zen is for protection of both myself, my allies, and it will only buff members in your party. So even in a battleground with 8 people in your team, make sure you party up. If you haven't entered battleground in a full party, try and get into one of the parties of 4 in there if you've got any ability that affects party members, because I'll specifically look for the blue names in PvP when this is off cooldown and I'm looking to engage, so that I can not only get a bit of health buff, but provide one to my ally and also prevent loss of control before I dive into the enemies. So that's Monkey Magic. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.